Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing happy, amazing and positive. Today's video is going to be kind of a creepy one. So if you are afraid of like paranormal things, I would suggest you click out of this video because it does get a little bit scary. I'm going to be reading out some Reddit stories about Randonautica. Randonautica is an app where you go randonauting. Randonauting is kind of like exploring things that could be good and could be bad. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen on TikTok some videos that have gone viral based on these experiences, but pretty much what it is, you set an intention. So it's kind of like manifesting a thing that you want to see or experience. So when you get the app, you can set your intention to peace and love, and the app will send you coordinates based on like somewhere close by to where you are, and you have to go, like you have to walk or drive to this place, and things start happening, or you find something that could be good or bad, but the way that they happen is so accurate. And it's like, how does this app know what your intentions are? Like, it's almost like a different dimension. Like I said, I've heard a lot of like good and bad stories about it. Like, I've read some creepy stories, some like fascinating stories, and the way I came across this was that viral video on TikTok where a group of friends did it, and they came across a dead body in a suitcase, and it just became this whole like investigation thing. So this app truly works. Like, once you set your intention, things will happen. So you have to be very careful with what your intentions are. And if you go with a group of friends, you have to make sure that your intentions are the same. So if you go with a group of like say 4 or 5 friends, you all have to have the same intention. If one of their intention is off, like say 4 out of 5 people choose love and peace and one chooses scary, there will be love and peace, but there will be scary mixed in together. That's just from what I've heard. I don't know if that is how it works. It's really important to like go with someone. If you do want to go randonauting, don't go by yourself, but I definitely would not do it. I've never downloaded the app, nor would I ever. Even though I'm like curious about it, I just don't want to mess around with those things, especially like, you know, if I bring something at home with me and, you know, something starts following me. I've heard like, you know, a lot of stalker stories and stuff like that. So yeah, like, no thank you. I'm not about that life. So today I have a bunch of scary Randonautica experiences to read out to you guys. This is not confirmed if it is true, but I mean, I've heard so many stories and I've seen so many videos on TikTok that kind of confirm that like weird things do happen. This first story is by Zapte. It is titled, "My First Experience Was Terrifying." Me and my girlfriend tried the app for the first time 2 hours ago in the dark with the intent of experiencing something scary. We knew about Randonautica through paranormal YouTube videos, so we wanted to have a terrifying experience. First 2 locations were kinda unfitting because of private properties, but on the 3rd try, we used the option void as an intent. I tried to focus on feeling absolutely terrified. We were driving in the car to the coordinates, and it led us through high fields on a really rural road. When we got closer, we saw another car already at the spot where we wanted to stop, so we could walk the rest. As we drove closer, it drove away like it noticed us, and we waited until we couldn't see it anymore. In brackets, there's no way someone just drives there by accident considering the state of the road. We then parked the car right at the huge windmill that was basically marking the way into the location for us. After being too scared to go out of the car for like 10 minutes, we finally managed to have the courage, and we got out and started walking. That's when my girlfriend started recording everything just in case something happens. If I had to guess, the spot was a foot walk of around 300 meters. And as we were halfway there, we heard loud noises coming from the direction of the windmill where I parked my car. It sounded like someone loudly running up and down the metal stairway at its entrance. That's when we started to become nervous, but we figured that this was probably just machinery inside making noises. But then they happened a couple more times, and considering our car was right next to these sounds, I was worried someone might be there, especially because of the car we saw right before we came. We then decided to head back to the car, but while we were walking, we started hearing more sounds like someone was following us in the bushes, and we occasionally saw something coming towards us from the direction of the windmill, but we kept walking. Right as we got closer to the car, we heard a loud sound again, so we just started running and drove away immediately. Like I said, we recorded everything, and the sounds from the windmill are really clear on the recording. So if there's an interest, I can post it on here. We definitely plan on doing some more scary exploring. The way that they saw something coming towards them from the windmill, that is really scary. I don't know, if I experienced something like that, knowing what my intention was being there, I would just be so scared that something would have jumped in the car while we were exploring, or I don't know, brought back some kind of entity or something. That's just too risky for me. They did say that they were going to post a recording, but they never ended up doing it. I had a look on the thread and they didn't end up posting it, so that's a bit of a shame, but that's okay. Next one is titled "Our First Exploration Started a Little Messy but Ended Up a Little Creepy." A friend came over to hang out. We watched a couple of videos on Skinwalker Ranch, and after that our conversation drifted to Randonautica. I told her how I felt about it, and we scrolled through some TikTok pertaining to the app. She suddenly decided she wanted to download the app and see what all the fuss was about. I was reluctant since it was late that day, but a little curious. We started fiddling around to get a location, but we were having a hard time because it kept giving us coordinates in the middle of bodies of water. That's so creepy. What's in the water then? Why is it giving coordinates in the water? There's obviously got to be dead bodies or something creepy in the water. We tried adjusting the settings, but some of them seemed to be missing. Weird, but we got one that was on solid ground and seemed okay. Our intent was purple because we wanted to start something relatively simple and innocent. My sister-in-law Emily wanted to join us, so we all hopped in the car and we went on our excited way. The coordinates ended up wanting to take us into someone's backyard, and that just wouldn't do. We skipped through some more water points, and the ones we were left with were just people's houses. It was around this time I felt we were having difficulty because the three of us weren't focusing our intent on one thing. We each had random ideas we kept blurting out and trying. Finally, my friend got fed up and said, "Let's try this one," to which Emily and I agreed to casually. The new coordinate took us to a street that had the name Forest. It wasn't an actual forest, nor were there very many trees surrounding the area. But my friend was very surprised. She said she had set her intent in her head to be forest. A small victory, maybe coincidental, but it was encouraging. Emily at this point was a little hangry and agitated about all the water points we kept getting. My friend was loading up another coordinate. During this time, the sun had gone down and it was totally dark. Emily said jokingly, "I want to see some dead bodies." My friend and I both immediately yelled no, because we had seen that manifesting death in general was a terrible idea all around. Yeah. But lo and behold, the new coordinates loaded and off we went, not thinking much of anything and just cruising. As we were driving down the windy highway, we saw a road marker for blank cemetery. The three of us noticed immediately and got curious as to where our coordinates were taking us. 900 feet later, sure as hell, our GPS announced that we had arrived at blank cemetery. It was pitch black and open, unfenced land, but we could see all the shadows of the headstones. I think we all were feeling a mixture of excited and weirded out. We were yelling and laughing about it, but a little freaked. I drove us away, and as we pulled back onto the highway, the song Broadcasting from Beyond the Grave by MIW started playing on our Spotify. WTF. That was the end of our first Randonautica adventure. Nothing too shocking, but just close enough to be creepy. See, like the fact that the app heard their intention, how does this happen? I just want to know how this is a thing. Okay, so this next one is by Lost Flowery. It is titled Something in the Neighborhood. What I'm about to tell you is an experience that my friends and I have lived some weeks ago during the explosion of TikTok trend called Randonautica. When we first heard of this trend, we saw it as a way to try something new, to explore the boring and strange neighborhood in which I live, with the hope to see an unforgettable and creepy happening. What we saw, I'm sure, could definitely be described that way. Oh, it was dark. It was around 11 p.m. We were spent after trying to find something cool with the Randonauts app. We tried to manifest something scary, an abandoned building or an entity, but the randomly generated points would always lead us to the countryside, and even trying to reach them was impossible as they were private properties. After some hours, we decided to surrender and just to walk around my house, as we never had really explored those old streets. And we found a weird and chained gate that blocked the way to a huge, seemingly abandoned house. There was a couch in front of the front door on which a black cat was comfortably sitting, and there was a dim light that came from a window that made it look as if there was something on the inside. Near the couch there were some objects from the 50s, like a basketball basket covered in frost. The atmosphere was spooky and there were bats flying around, but we decided to keep walking until we found something that looked like a dead-end street. A street lamp started working at once, making 3 gates visible. The first gate was right at the end of a small road. The second gate was on the left, and the third one, the most important one, was on the right. I saw another black cat behind the first gate, but I turned around, and after a little bit I looked back at the gate, and as soon as I did that I literally jumped after seeing a black sheet on the ground which was basically being dragged, but it quickly disappeared. Oh my god, that is so freaky. I asked my friends to leave as we previously saw a weird shadow who could have been someone behind some bushes, and it was giving me anxiety, but we decided to stay and check behind the third gate. There was something strange. It, in quotations, seemed like it was holding a huge stick, even though no hands were visible. Now that I think about it, it may have looked like the Grim Reaper's sickle. A little far from it, there was an old chair, and a drawing resembling a face appeared right on the wall. It was smiling, and it had eyes and a nose and curved drawn line which represented a smiling mouth. So this random face just appeared. Okay. There was some sort of noose close to it on the same wall, and a house which was behind it had a 5-pointed star on the balcony. Oh no, that's like devil signs, isn't it? After seeing this, I really felt as if we were in the wrong place. I started panicking and convinced everyone to leave, and we got back home safe, but we still had so many questions regarding what we saw. These questions, which had led us to go back to the creepy street some days later. We thought about going there in the daylight, but somehow we ended there even later than 11 p.m. and met with a different scenery. A huge white van was resting in the exact same place where we had seen the hooded man, and the drawing on the wall wasn't there anymore. We still can't explain what we saw and probably never will, but it's a mystery that will probably haunt us forever. Hell yeah, that would bloody haunt me forever, that's for sure. It almost feels as if like there's people who set up in these scary areas, and whoever comes randonauting, they kind of have like actors to play out these scary parts. But I don't know, like these are just way weird coincidences, and I don't know, I just could never do that. Okay, 2 more stories. This is by Sombre Unicorn, and it's titled I Had the Creepiest Experience Ever. Hi, I'm Danny from Italy, and tonight I had an extremely creepy experience using Randonautica. I downloaded the app this morning. In brackets, I'm a very skeptical person, and I wanted to try it. I went with a friend of mine, and this afternoon we found an old abandoned house with ivy all over the walls. Kinda eerie. Tonight, more or less 1 hour ago, before I took her back home, we tried again. The app led us to a long gravel path with some houses on the left, and on the right just normal houses, nothing scary or weird. Since the path was kind of narrow, we decided to go on walking. We walked for more or less 200 meters and we arrived in front of the gate of a normal house. I wanted to take some photos to post here, but while I was starting the camera app, the creepiest thing happened. I heard the voice of a little baby laughing. It was 1 a.m. Definitely not a kid playing there. And me and my friends started running at the same time without looking at each other. We ran for a bit, then I turned back and I saw 2 little lights similar to cat eyes in the dark following us. They had the height of a 5 or 6-year-old child. In the meantime, there was a sound of someone running in the gravel. Everything disappeared when we approached the car and we didn't hear any sounds of something running back. The creepiest thing is that my friend asked me about the lights and the sound. I didn't know what that thing was, but damn, I've got chills down my spine. Definitely very, very, very scary. Something scary about that though is that Danny said that she had seen 2 lights like a cat and didn't tell her friend. But then the friend said that she saw something as well at the same time, but they never communicated that while they were running. So they obviously both saw it. There was obviously something there. I don't know how I would deal with I don't know, I just find baby things really scary. You know when you hear little babies in movies when they laugh and stuff, I don't know, I find that really, really creepy. Safe to say I would be freaking freaked out. This last story isn't scary, but it's really weird. So this is by AJ Faria and it's titled Unexplainable. Okay, so I was using the Randonautica app. Me and my girlfriend just got it yesterday and we've loved being able to explore. Our first day was a little weird, but it just had us questioning what was going on. Then today, I did my own one earlier in the day and had a personal experience about something close to me. It was very interesting, but absolutely pales in comparison as to what we did tonight. So the story goes. So it's me, my sister, and my girlfriend. Around 9 p.m., my girlfriend uses her phone to find a spot. I set my personal intention to just something crazy. I wanted to have my mind blown. She set hers to something about her dad who passed away in 2016. So the point shows up to a cemetery. Already weird as heck, right? So we get to the cemetery and park so we can walk exactly to the point it's at. It's dark, but we get to the point and are just kind of standing there. So we turn our phone flashlights on. This is where it gets bizarre. Right on the point we were at, my girlfriend looks down. There is a grave. The first name of the man buried there was the same name of her father's. Oh my gosh. And the spot reserved next to him, who appears to be his still alive wife, is marked with the same name as my girlfriend's mother as well. The grave a few feet away had someone with the same middle name as her father's too. Whew. We left and the cemetery was closed. The road had been blocked off and someone had to let us out. We had just made it there in time. I don't know how to explain it. It was truly a random point set through an app on her phone. Her father was cremated and her mother is still alive. I don't know, it wasn't scary per se, but just extremely unexplainable to me. I just don't know what to make of it. I don't even have the answers to that. That is truly extremely creepy. How does an app know these things? I do not know, but the universe is absolutely listening to our thoughts. That's why it's so important when you're using the app to set your intentions as something that's not bad, you know. But I get it, people want thrills, people want to be scared, you know, it's exciting, it's like being on a roller coaster. So yeah, personally, like I've said, I would not do it, and I'm happy to say I don't think I have any friends that would be down to do it either. Maybe if I was a teenager I would have, because I really love those kinds of things, but I would never mess around with those things, you know. I feel like it's just not right to mess around with people who have passed and stuff like that, like for obvious reasons. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget that I post every single Monday, so I hope to see you guys here next week. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you here next week. Bye.